Welcome to the Wellbeing Podcast, where every episode is a step toward a healthier, happier you. Let's
Mhm.
grow, thrive, and shine together.
It sounds like you're ready to make 2025 your best year yet. You've sent over a fascinating collection of articles on goal setting, success strategies, and even some neuroscience research. We're about to embark on a deep dive into all of this, and I'm so excited to explore it with you. To help us connect the dots and extract those golden nuggets of wisdom, we have our expert guide with us. They have an incredible talent for taking complex information and making it both understandable and applicable to everyday life.
It's a pleasure to be here. You're absolutely right. This material is a treasure trove of insights, and I'm particularly intrigued by the research on how simply writing down your goals can increase your likelihood of achieving them by 42%. That's a statistic that always makes me pause and think. It is. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the simplest actions can have the biggest impact. Now, one theme that really jumped out at me from the articles you've shared is the importance of reflection. Before we even think about setting goals for 2025, it seems we need to take stock of 2024. Several of the articles mention a journaling exercise where you reflect on your top 3 achievements and the top 3 lessons learned from the past year. What are your thoughts on this? Why is reflection so crucial in this process?
That's a great question, and it speaks to a crucial element of successful goal setting. You see, reflection isn't just about reminiscing or dwelling on the past, it's about gaining valuable insights that can inform our future actions. Think of it like this. If you were setting out on a journey, wouldn't you want to consult a map and learn from previous travelers' experiences? Reflection is that map for our personal growth journey. It allows us to identify patterns, recognize our strengths, and understand areas where we can improve. It's about learning from our experiences so we can make more informed decisions moving forward.
That's such a helpful analogy. And you're right, it's not about getting stuck in the past, but about using the past as a springboard to propel us forward. So once we've done this reflection and gained some clarity from our past experiences, the articles dive into the realm of goal setting. And of course, the classic concept of SMART goals comes up. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. We've all heard of SMART goals, but why are they so effective? And how do they tie into the bigger picture of designing our dream year?
SMART goals are more than just a catchy acronym. They represent a framework that empowers us to translate our aspirations into concrete actions. Let's break it down. When a goal is specific, it's clearly defined, leaving no room for ambiguity. This clarity is essential because it allows us to focus our energy and efforts in a precise direction. Measurable goals provide a way to track progress and see how far we've come, which can be incredibly motivating. Achievable goals are realistic and attainable, preventing us from setting ourselves up for disappointment and discouragement. Relevant goals align with our values and overall life vision, ensuring we're moving in a direction that feels meaningful and fulfilling. And finally, time-bound goals provide a sense of urgency and accountability, helping us stay on track and avoid procrastination.
Okay, that's a great breakdown. I especially appreciate how you emphasize the psychological aspect of goal setting. It's not just about the mechanics of setting a goal, but about creating a mindset that fosters motivation and commitment. One of the articles mentioned a study by Dr. Gail Matthews, which found that people who write down their goals and share progress updates with someone are 42% more likely to achieve them. Why do you think writing things down makes such a difference? Is it simply about accountability?
While accountability is certainly a factor, it's only part of the equation. When we write down our goals, we're essentially taking an abstract thought and making it tangible. It's no longer just an idea floating around in our minds. It becomes a concrete commitment. The act of writing engages different parts of our brain, including those associated with memory and focus. It's like planting a seed in fertile ground. The act of writing helps that goal take root and grow.
That makes a lot of sense. So, we've reflected on our past experiences, and we've set SMART goals for the year ahead. What are some of the next steps on this path to designing our dream year? What other insights did you glean from the source material?
One fascinating concept that several articles highlight is the power of keystone habits. Have you come across that term before?
I have, but I'd love to hear your take on it. What are keystone habits, and how can they help us transform our lives?
Think of a keystone as the central stone in an archway. Remove that keystone, and the entire structure collapses. Similarly, keystone habits are those foundational habits that have a ripple effect, positively influencing other areas of our lives. They create a cascade of positive changes, leading to greater productivity, improved well-being, and ultimately, a more fulfilling life.
Okay, that's a powerful analogy. The articles provided some great examples of keystone habits, like establishing a morning routine that incorporates exercise, mindfulness, or journaling, or using a planner to track our daily habits and progress. What makes these particular habits so impactful?
These habits are impactful because they address core aspects of our well-being. For example, a morning routine that includes exercise, mindfulness, and journaling sets a positive tone for the day, priming our minds and bodies for optimal performance. It's about starting the day with intention and focus rather than rushing into reactive mode. Similarly, tracking our habits with a planner helps us become more aware of our patterns and make conscious choices that align with our goals. It's about cultivating self-awareness and taking ownership of our actions.
It's like those keystone habits create a foundation
Hmm.
for building a more intentional and fulfilling life. They help us move from autopilot to conscious creation. What other powerful strategies did you discover in these articles?
Another fascinating concept that caught my eye was the power of visualization. Now, I
Yeah.
want to be clear, we're not talking about passive daydreaming here. We're talking about a deliberate and focused practice of using mental imagery to achieve our goals.
Right. It's not just about wishing or hoping for something to happen. One of the articles even suggested spending 5 to 10 minutes each day, visualizing ourselves, achieving our goals, focusing on the specific actions,
Yeah.
the feelings, and the desired outcomes. Is there any scientific evidence to support the effectiveness of visualization?
Absolutely. There's a growing body of research in neuroscience and sports psychology that demonstrates the power of visualization. Studies have shown that athletes who practice visualization regularly experience significant improvements in their performance.
That's incredible.
Mm.
So by vividly imagining ourselves succeeding, we're essentially training our brains to achieve those goals. It's like giving our minds a preview of the future we want to create. This is starting to make so much sense.
Exactly. Visualization works on multiple levels. It helps us clarify our goals, strengthen our motivation, and even prepare our bodies for action.
So we've covered reflection,
Yeah.
smart goals,
Mhm.
keystone habits, and visualization. What other gems did you uncover in these articles
Yeah.
that can help us design our dream year?
Well, one article emphasized the importance of cultivating a growth mindset.
Ah,
Right.
yes, the growth mindset. One of the sources even mentioned Dr. Carol Dweck's work on this topic. Essentially, it's about embracing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth, rather than seeing them as setbacks or failures.
Precisely. A growth mindset is essential for resilience, adaptability, and continuous improvement. It's about viewing challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. It's about understanding that our abilities are not fixed, but rather they can be developed and expanded through effort and learning.
The articles even provide some actionable advice on how to cultivate a growth mindset, such as reframing failures as learning experiences and focusing on progress rather than perfection. It's about shifting our perspective from a fixed mindset of "I can't do this" to a growth mindset of "I can learn to do this."
Exactly. A growth mindset allows us to embrace the journey of personal growth, knowing that setbacks and challenges are inevitable, but also valuable opportunities for learning and development. It's about focusing on progress, not perfection.
Right. This is so important. And I think it ties in beautifully with the overall theme of designing our dream year. It's not just about achieving a specific outcome, but about creating a fulfilling and growth-oriented journey along the way.
I couldn't agree more. It's about embracing the process and understanding that personal growth is an ongoing evolution, not a destination.
This has been so insightful already. We've covered so much ground, from reflection and SMART goals to keystone habits, visualization, and a growth mindset. Are there any other essential ingredients for designing our dream year that we need to explore?
Absolutely. The articles also highlight the critical role of building a strong support system.
That makes perfect sense. We're not meant to go through this journey alone. Several of the articles suggested sharing our goals with a mentor, friend, or accountability partner. They seem to emphasize the importance of social support in achieving our goals.
And there's a good reason for that. Research has shown that having a supportive network significantly increases our chances of success. When we share our goals with others, we create a sense of accountability and receive encouragement and guidance along the way.
It's like having a cheerleading squad rooting for us every step of the way. It's definitely easier to stay motivated and overcome challenges when we know we're not alone. So we have reflection, SMART goals, keystone habits, visualization, a growth mindset, and the importance of building a support system. What else do we need to consider for our dream year blueprint?
Well, amidst all the talk of goals and achievements, it's easy to forget about the foundation of it all, prioritizing our well-being.
You're absolutely right. Several of the articles emphasize the importance of self-care, for sustained effort and success. It's not about pushing ourselves to the limit, but about finding a sustainable rhythm that nourishes our mind.
Body and spirit. Exactly. The articles even provide specific suggestions for prioritizing well-being, such as making sure we're getting enough sleep, eating nutritious foods, incorporating regular exercise into our routines, and setting healthy boundaries to protect our time and energy. These aren't just nice-to-haves, they're essential for maintaining the energy and focus we need to achieve our goals.
One of the sources even referenced Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and his concept of sharpening the saw. Can you elaborate on what that means?
It's a brilliant analogy. Just like a saw becomes dull with use, we too can become worn down if we don't take the time to recharge and replenish ourselves. Sharpening the saw means investing in activities that renew our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It's about recognizing that self-care is not selfish, but rather an essential investment in our long-term success and happiness.
It's like taking care of our most valuable asset, ourselves. If we don't prioritize our well-being, we're not going to be able to show up fully for our goals or for anything else in our lives.
Precisely. Self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's about creating a sustainable and fulfilling life, not just chasing achievements at the expense of our well-being.
So we have reflection, SMART goals, keystone habits, visualization, a growth mindset, the importance of building a supportive environment, and prioritizing our well-being. Is there anything else we need to keep in mind as we design our dream year?
One final point that several articles emphasized is the importance of celebrating progress, no matter how small.
Yeah, that's so crucial. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of our goals and forget to acknowledge how far we've come. The articles talk about the power of celebrating even minor wins to fuel motivation and maintain momentum.
And there's scientific evidence to back this up. Studies have shown that celebrating progress can actually improve our mood, boost our self-confidence, and increase our long-term motivation.
That makes perfect sense. It's like giving ourselves positive reinforcement along the way, which keeps us feeling good and energized about the journey. One article even suggested a simple gratitude practice, where we take a few moments each day to reflect on our accomplishments, no matter how small, to cultivate a sense of appreciation and accomplishment.
That's a wonderful practice. It's so easy to focus on what we haven't done yet. But taking time to acknowledge what we have accomplished can significantly shift our perspective and boost our morale. It's about acknowledging our wins, big and small.
It's about giving ourselves a pat on the back.
Yeah.
And recognizing that we're making progress one step at a time.
Exactly. And those small steps, when taken consistently, can lead to remarkable results.
Wow. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive already. We've gone from reflecting on the past to setting SMART goals, building keystone habits, harnessing the power of visualization, embracing a growth mindset, creating a supportive environment, prioritizing our well-being, and celebrating progress along the way. That's a pretty impressive blueprint for designing our dream year.
It is indeed. And the best part is, these strategies are all actionable and backed by research. It's not just about wishing for a better year. It's about taking intentional steps to make it happen.
This has been so inspiring. I'm feeling so motivated and excited to put all of this learning into practice. But before we dive into even more insights and strategies, let's take a moment to let this all sink in. We'll be back soon to continue exploring the fascinating world of goal setting and personal transformation.
Welcome back. It's amazing how much ground we've already covered, yet there's still so much more to uncover in this treasure trove of information you've provided.
I know, right? I'm already feeling so inspired and energized by all these strategies and insights. It's like we're assembling a toolkit for success, one powerful tool at a time.
That's a great way to put it. And building on that toolkit analogy, one of the tools that really stood out to me in the articles was the Eisenhower Matrix. It's a fantastic framework for prioritizing tasks and managing our time effectively, especially when we're juggling multiple goals and responsibilities.
Yeah, the Eisenhower Matrix. One of the sources described it as a way to categorize tasks based on their urgency and importance. It creates 4 quadrants: urgent and important. Important but not urgent. Urgent but not important. Neither urgent nor important. But how do we actually use this matrix in real life? Could you walk us through an example of how it could be applied to, let's say, someone's goal of writing a book.
Absolutely. Let's imagine someone has a goal of writing a book and they're feeling overwhelmed by all the tasks involved. Using the Eisenhower matrix, they can start by identifying tasks that fall into each quadrant. For example, urgent and important might include meeting a deadline for a chapter submission or addressing critical feedback from an editor. Important but not urgent could involve things like researching and outlining the next chapter or scheduling dedicated writing time. Urgent but not important might be responding to emails or attending meetings that aren't directly related to the book project. And finally, neither urgent nor important could be scrolling through social media or engaging in activities that can be easily eliminated or delegated.
Okay, that's a great example. So the key is to prioritize tasks in the urgent and important quadrant first, followed by those in the important but not urgent quadrant. The goal is to minimize time spent on tasks in the other two quadrants.
Yeah, exactly. The beauty of the Eisenhower matrix is that it helps us distinguish between what truly requires our immediate attention and what can be delegated, deferred, or even eliminated. It's about being proactive with our time and energy, rather than constantly reacting to whatever demands our attention.
This reminds me of a quote from one of the sources, Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. He said, "Success is about doing the right thing, not about doing everything."
That's such a powerful reminder. It's not about being busy. It's about being effective. It's about focusing on the activities that move us closer to our goals and letting go of the rest. It's about making conscious choices about how we spend our time and energy.
And speaking of energy, one of the sources also emphasized the importance of sharpening the saw, a concept from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's about recognizing that we need to invest time and energy in renewing ourselves, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, to operate at our best. It's about taking care of our most valuable asset, ourselves.
It's a brilliant analogy. Just like a saw becomes dull with use, we too can become worn down if we don't take the time to recharge and replenish ourselves. This includes getting enough sleep, eating nutritious foods, engaging in regular exercise, and taking breaks when we need them.
And it also includes nurturing our mental and emotional well-being by engaging in activities that bring us joy, reduce stress, and connect us to our passions and purpose.
It's about creating a sustainable rhythm that nourishes our overall well-being.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that self-care is not a luxury, but a necessity for achieving our goals and living a fulfilling life.
Yeah.
It's about creating a life that feels good on the inside and the outside. This is all starting to come together beautifully. We've talked about reflection, setting SMART goals, building keystone habits, harnessing the power of visualization, embracing a growth mindset, building a supportive environment, prioritizing our well-being, and celebrating progress along the way. It's like we're weaving a tapestry of success, with each thread representing a different strategy or principle. And when those threads are woven together, they create a beautiful and resilient whole.
I love that analogy. It's a reminder that designing our dream year is a holistic process, not just about focusing on one or two isolated aspects, but about integrating multiple strategies to create a sustainable and fulfilling path forward.
So much of what we've discussed seems to revolve around the idea of taking ownership of our lives and making conscious choices that align with our goals and values. It's about becoming the architects of our own destinies.
That's a great way to put it. It's about shifting from a passive mindset of things happen to me to an empowered mindset of I create my own reality. It's about recognizing that we have more control over our lives than we often realize.
This is so empowering. And it leads me to wonder, what other insights or strategies did you discover in the articles that can help us further embrace this mindset of conscious creation?
One thing that stood out was the emphasis on not just setting goals, but also on having a clear understanding of our why. Several sources mention Simon Sinek's book Start With Why, which explores the importance of purpose in motivating action and achieving lasting success.
That's so interesting. So it's not enough to just know what we want to achieve. We also need to understand why it matters to us. Why is this concept of why so crucial? How does it impact our ability to design our dream year?
Our why acts as our guiding star, our compass. It's the driving force behind our actions and decisions. When we have a clear sense of purpose, it becomes easier to stay motivated, overcome challenges, and make choices that align with our values and aspirations. Think of it like this. If you're climbing a mountain, knowing why you're doing it, perhaps to challenge yourself, enjoy breathtaking views, or raise money for a cause you believe in, will fuel your determination and keep you moving forward, even when the going gets tough.
Okay, that's such a powerful image, and it makes perfect sense. When we have a strong why, our goals become more than just tasks to check off a list. They become expressions of our values and aspirations. It's about connecting with our deeper motivations.
Exactly. And when we connect with our why, it becomes easier to stay committed to our goals, even when faced with obstacles or distractions. It's about aligning our actions with our purpose.
One of the sources even suggested taking some time to visualize our ideal year, really painting a vivid picture of where we want to be by December 2025. It's not just about setting specific goals, but about creating a holistic vision for our future selves.
It's about tapping into the power of imagination and allowing ourselves to dream big. And those dreams can then be translated into concrete, actionable steps. Through the SMART goal-setting process we discussed earlier, it's like creating a roadmap for our dream year, with a clear destination and milestones along the way.
And speaking of milestones, one of the articles highlighted the importance of breaking down our big goals into smaller, more manageable steps. Why is this such a crucial strategy?
Breaking down big goals into smaller steps prevents overwhelm and makes the journey feel less daunting. Research has shown that people who set incremental goals are more likely to stay committed and achieve success. It's like climbing a mountain. It's much easier to focus on reaching the next base camp, rather than staring up at the seemingly insurmountable summit.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It makes the process feel so much more approachable and less intimidating.
Yeah.
And as we reach those smaller milestones, we can celebrate those wins,
Yeah.
which further fuels our motivation and keeps us moving forward.
Exactly. It's a beautiful cycle of setting goals, taking action,
Yeah.
celebrating progress, and repeating. And as we continue this cycle, we build momentum, confidence, and a sense of accomplishment.
It's like we're creating a positive feedback loop that propels us toward our goals. And all of these strategies and insights from the sources seem to be interconnected and mutually reinforcing.
They truly are. It's like weaving a tapestry of success, with each thread representing a different strategy or principle. And when those threads are woven together, they create a beautiful and resilient whole.
That's such a beautiful image. It reminds us that designing our dream year is not about finding the one magic bullet, but about embracing a holistic approach that integrates multiple strategies and principles. It's about creating a life that feels aligned and purposeful, where our actions are guided by our values and our goals are in harmony with our well-being.
Well said. And as we continue exploring this fascinating topic, let's keep that holistic perspective in mind. We'll be back soon to delve even deeper into these transformative strategies and discover how to truly make 2025 our best year yet. Welcome back. We've explored so many powerful tools and strategies for designing a dream year, from setting SMART goals to cultivating keystone habits, but it's not just about the individual pieces, it's about how they all fit together.
Yeah, you're right. It's like we're assembling a puzzle, and each piece represents a different aspect of personal growth and transformation. And speaking of puzzle pieces, one thing that keeps coming up in these articles is the importance of not just setting goals, but also understanding our why. Several of the sources mention Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, and how understanding our purpose can be a game changer.
You know, Sinek makes a compelling case for the power of purpose. He argues that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And this applies not only to business, but also to personal goals. When we have a strong why, a deep-seated reason for wanting to achieve something, it fuels our motivation and resilience, especially when we encounter obstacles.
So it's not just about wanting to write a book,
Yeah.
but understanding why we want to write it. Is it to share our knowledge, inspire others,
Yeah.
or leave a legacy? Having that clarity of purpose seems essential.
Absolutely. When we connect with our why, our goals become more than just tasks on a to-do list. They become expressions of our values and aspirations. It's like having a compass that guides us, even when the path gets challenging.
Several of the articles also suggest not only defining our why, but also visualizing our ideal year, painting a vivid picture of where we want to be by December 2025. Not just the achievements, but the feelings, the experiences, the overall sense of fulfillment.
Visualization is a powerful tool for turning dreams into reality. It's not just about wishful thinking, it's about creating a mental blueprint that primes our minds for success. When we vividly imagine ourselves achieving our goals, we engage multiple senses and emotions, strengthening our neural pathways and making the desired outcome feel more attainable.
You mentioned earlier that research supports the effectiveness of visualization, especially for athletes. Could you elaborate on that?
Sure. Studies have shown that athletes who regularly visualize themselves performing well actually improve their real-life performance. This is because visualization activates the same brain regions that are involved in actual physical movement. It's like a mental rehearsal that prepares both our minds and bodies for success.
That's incredible. It's like we're training our brains to believe we can achieve our goals,
Yeah,
and that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
exactly. The mind is incredibly powerful, and visualization is a key to unlocking its potential. It's about creating a clear and compelling vision of our desired future and using that vision to guide our actions and decisions.
Speaking of action, one practical tip that stood out was the importance of breaking down big goals
Yeah.
into smaller, more manageable steps. Is there a specific method or framework you recommend for doing this?
Well, one effective approach is to work backward from the desired outcome. Let's say your goal is to run a marathon in a year. You could break it down into monthly milestones, like increasing your mileage gradually,
Yeah.
incorporating cross-training activities, and signing up for shorter races along the way.
Right. That's a great example. It makes the seemingly daunting task of running a marathon feel much more achievable by focusing on smaller, incremental steps.
Exactly. Breaking down goals into smaller steps prevents overwhelm and creates a sense of momentum. Each small win, each milestone achieved, reinforces our belief in our ability to reach the ultimate goal.
And as we celebrate those small wins along the way, we boost our motivation and keep that positive energy flowing.
Absolutely. Celebrating progress is essential. It helps us stay engaged and excited about the journey. It's about acknowledging our efforts and giving ourselves credit for the progress we're making, no matter how small.
It seems like all of these strategies, reflecting on our experiences, setting smart goals, building keystone habits, harnessing the power of visualization, embracing a growth mindset, cultivating a supportive environment, prioritizing well-being,
Yeah.
and celebrating progress are all interconnected and work synergistically.
They do. It's not about picking and choosing one or two. It's about integrating them all into a cohesive approach to personal growth and transformation. It's about creating a life that feels aligned and purposeful, where our actions are guided by our values and our goals are in harmony with our well-being.
This has been such an incredibly rich and insightful deep dive. I feel like I've gained so much clarity and inspiration. I'm excited to put all these strategies into practice and make 2025 my most fulfilling year yet.
It's been a pleasure sharing this exploration with you. Remember, you have the power to design your dream year. Embrace the journey, stay committed to your why, and trust the process.
Thanks for listening to the Wellbeing Podcast. Take care, stay inspired, and see you next time.